Let me ask you this. When was the last time you were at a wedding reception? Odds are you didn't know everybody there. There's folks you haven't seen for a long time, folks you've never met before. You assume if they're properly dressed that they all belong. And this is the basis for stories and movies and so on about wedding crashers, people who show up to get the free hors d'oeuvres and the free drinks. Recently, there was a scandalous case that was caught on video, people crashing a wedding and then stealing all of the gifts, a very considerable sum of money. But what if the wedding crasher, the uninvited guest, was Planned Parenthood? Then what? Stay with me. I've got a story to tell. Hi, I'm Jesuit Father Robert McTeigue, your host every day at the Catholic Current via the Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network. Let's take a closer look. Glad you're here. Recently, I officiated at a wedding. It was a very happy occasion. The music of the wedding mass was exquisite. And one of the things I had to do is a common thing. All priests know about this. Parish secretary hands you an envelope in the sacristy, and it's got the materials from the county for the marriage license. And, there's a receipt because there's always a fee, of course. There's the forms that have to be filled out by you as the clergy, the bride, the groom, the witnesses, etc. And then there was a long sheet of paper, and it came to you from the county government. So I want you to think about this. As I tell you about what this is, I want you to hear these words: your tax dollars at work. On this list of, on this piece of paper that was included in the marriage license from the county was a reminder of where all the Planned Parenthood clinics are in your particular county. And this particular county has more than one, sad to say. And I want to read to you the list of services that's available to from Planned Parenthood in this particular county. And the county government decided that as you're signing your marriage license on the day of your wedding, this is what you need to think about. And I'll leave it as a matter of speculation as to whether or not any money changed hands when Planned Parenthood approached the county government and says, you know what you guys should do? Whenever someone gets married, give them this menu. So here is what the local Planned Parenthood office is offering this couple newly married: confidential reproductive health services for men and women. If you're playing this at home as a drinking game, maybe take a drink whenever you hear a euphemism. Family planning and birth control, comma, all methods. Breast, cervical, and testicular cancer screening, prenatal care, emergency contraception, rapid HIV testing, sexually transmitted disease testing and services, in clinic abortion services, and medication abortion services, male sterilization vasectomy, and referrals for female sterilization, tubal ligation, colposcopy, cryosurgery, and LEEP for abnormal pap smears, limited general counseling services, HPV and hepatitis B vaccines, pregnancy tests and options counseling and referrals, condoms, over the counter birth control supplies, and emergency contraception, LGBTQ sensitive services, Spanish speaking staff, all centers, other translations as needed, care to maintain your reproductive health and decisions. What this means is that the county government, while registering your marriage, decided in conjunction with, I was going to say in cahoots, but that wouldn't be fair. I'm better than that. In conjunction with the local Planned Parenthood clinic, was sure that you needed to hear about this on the day of your wedding. In fact, was so sure was going to use county funds to print and distribute this menu. And what exactly are the services? Now, maybe you might want to have cervical cancer screening on the day of your wedding. That seems kind of counterintuitive to me. Maybe you want to have prenatal care on the day of your wedding. I think maybe that could wait a day. But the real issue is the recognition that marriage has something to do with sex, and sex has something to do with fertility, and fertility has something to do with making babies, and they don't want that. And they expect that you don't want that either. They expect that you, like them, want to separate marriage from sexuality, from fertility, from babies. And they also expect that people, yes, indeed, are fallen, and there's a real likelihood that you might need a little bit of a tune up as you begin to enter into your married life. But above all, and I've lost track of all the euphemisms, they want you to know that if you want to kill your child in the womb, they are here to help. Now, try to imagine the pitch meeting. Someone had to say, you know what, guys, let's get the county on the phone and say, you guys distribute marriage certificates to all the couples getting married, those things that are signed on their wedding day, right? Do us a favor for the common good, of course, with no money changing hands, because that would be wrong. Put this list of services because surely that's what people are thinking about on the day that they're married, or at least that's what they should be thinking about on the day that they're married, about killing their children and cleaning up the mess of their prior sexual activities before this happy day. What is wrong with us? How far low have we sunk that we can countenance the idea that on the day that someone is married, at taxpayer expense, you will be reminded that there is ample opportunity for you to legally kill your children. This is where we are. When I was teaching, I used to ask my students as we review one ethical proposal or another, does this help us build a moral house in which we would want to live? I don't want to live anymore in a world where at taxpayer expense, people getting married are reminded that there's ample opportunity for you to kill your children in the womb. And I don't think most healthy, sane people want to live in such a world either. So here we are. What to do about that? Well, we can talk about changing laws and policy proposals and executive orders or boycotts or tax. Yes, all those things are on the practical order, and something rather than nothing should be done. I'll leave it to others to decide what's the best, most prudent way to go forward. But I want to suggest this: almost certainly nothing will be done unless and until there is a change of heart. Not just a New Year's resolution, not just an empty gesture, but a metanoia, as we'd say in Greek, a conversion, a turning around away from the abyss, away from the culture of death, towards Christ, towards the God who loves life, towards the God who inspired Psalm 139, where God helps us to see that we are fearfully, wonderfully made, knit together in our mother's womb. And unless and until that conversion happens, I don't see any progress being made. Well, what to do about that? Who's going to lead that conversion? Who's going to set the example? Who's going to offer the instruction? Well, you would think, and as I would tell my students, as soon as you start a paragraph with, you would think, you're setting yourself up for heartache, for a trail of tears. The trail of tears, which sadly is in fact a carousel. You would think that senior members of the Catholic cohorts of the People Who Should Really Know Better Club would lead the charge. But as we've been told again and again by certain members of that cohort, that abortion is just one issue among many, as important as it may be. I've also been told by members of the People Who Should Know Better Club, Father, there's no money in defending life. There is no money in opposing abortion. I think if we're willing to countenance the countenance the murder of children in the womb, I don't see how we make progress on any other moral issue, and I don't see how we evade God's judgment. Please, dear God, while there is still time, let's repent and let's convert. Think on these things today, take them to prayer, and talk about it with those you love. Go in peace, and please do pray for me, for I am a sinner. Hey, we need your support. Please click on the link on the screen or in the description below so that the Station of the Cross can continue to provide you with great Catholic programming like this. Thanks for watching today. I release new videos on Mondays and Wednesdays. Check out the archives for more videos. You can listen to my podcast at stationofthecross.com, and you can find my written work at heraldofthegospel.org. See you next time.